again. This is Mike, and I'm the Sports History Collector. And today is the third installment of, well, it's more like a get-together than a podcast. We have had two previous installments where we get 5 collectors together and we talk about different subjects. And sometimes we show cards, sometimes we just talk. And we also take a sports quiz, which really humbles, well, at least me. So anyway, I'll bring everybody up here. First off is Drew, Clean Cheap Shots. Hi, Drew.
Hey, Mike. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Next up is Gordon. He's the Athletes Archive. Gordon?
Either one.
Either one.
Mike.
They both plural, non-plural. And of course, Hugo, Science of the Pastime.
Hey, guys.
Hugo, how you doing?
Hugo.
Last but definitely not least, Rob, Baseball Time Traveler.
Hello, gentlemen. How are you?
Hey, Rob, doing good. Played any rugby lately?
I played softball this morning. How's that? It's starting to feel like rugby playing softball.
Was that all the time that Hugo had tonight? It looks like he's back up.
He's gone.
I'm back. Just like that. All right, I'm back.
There he is.
Here we go.
I thought maybe that was the extent of your time tonight there, Hugo.
That'll teach you to answer the questions wrong.
Right.
Yeah, start the trivia. Kick him back out again.
Hey, I'm on a winning streak. Let's go.
If someone's getting too many points, they're going to get kicked out.
Wait. Is Hugo 2-0?
2-0, man.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay.
Oh, darn. I based all these questions off stuff he's done on his show. On it.
Yeah.
Can we do this by age groups?
Oh, man.
Okay, we got. I've just got 6 questions, but they do have some extra points on some of these if you can get some additional ones, and they're not super difficult, but depends. Anyway, let's go with, and they're all. I think they're all baseball related. So number 1, who was on deck when Bobby Thompson hit the shot heard round the world?
I'm ready.
Not sure about
ready?
this. Yeah.
Ready, Rob?
Yep.
Okay, let's start with we'll go top to bottom. Let's go with Drew. Drew, what was your answer?
I got Willie Mays.
That is correct.
Oh, wow.
Let's,
Man.
Gordon.
I couldn't think of the who was on deck, but I know Ralph Branco was the pitcher.
He indeed was.
Do I get half point?
Only if you need it at the end. We'll consider. Well, okay. Actually, you cheated me out of some points last time, so no.
Wow.
And Hugo?
All right, I messed it up. Ray Noble, but
That's a good guess.
yeah, my next guess was going to be Monty Irvin, but
I think in that game, Ray Noble came in as a defensive replacement. I don't think he got a chance to bat.
No, I didn't get a chance.
Let's do Rob. Willie Mays. Okay, so we got Drew with 1 and Rob with 1.
I better have gotten that one right. I did a video on that game.
Man, I watched that one too. Oh, shame on me.
Okay, second question. What player was unfortunate enough to be the last out in 2 of Sandy Koufax's no-hitters? One of those being a perfect game. So I think Koufax had 4 no-hitters, including the perfect game. This one player was the last out in 2 of them. I'll give you a slight hint. It probably won't help. He played for different teams each time.
Yep.
Can you name the teams?
I believe it was the Giants and the Cubs.
Correct.
The years?
Would you like the spelling of his last name? Well, it was the 60s.
It was 65 for one of them, and would have been 60.
God.
Yeah, I can't remember the other one.
It's like it might have been 63 and 65, or
yeah, I think it was 63.
Wow.
Now remember, these are supposed to be fun questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm having a blast.
Yeah, fun for Rob. He looks. Look at that smiling in Rob's face.
Well, I may be making a mistake. I just remember the games.
Oh man. How about initials, Mike? No.
Can't do that.
Oh man.
Well,
Here's a hint. If you're familiar with the Dodger broadcasts, you probably heard at least one of them from Vin Scully in the lead into every game.
No, it doesn't help.
No. No.
Okay, everybody ready?
sure.
Let's go. Let's go top. We'll just do the same thing. Drew.
Now, I'd put Bob Euchre. I actually think Bob Euchre hit Koufax pretty well, but
Actually, I think you're right about that. I think I heard that. That is not correct.
Man. Just a bit outside.
Gordon.
I think there's lag. That was the answer for number one.
I'll give you that one then.
Oh man.
Okay,
I have no idea.
here you go.
All right, total guess. Al Smith.
Well, not a bad guess, but not correct. I have a suspicion Rob will get this right. Rob? Harvey Keene. That is correct.
No way.
Wow.
Wow.
And if
I'm
you listen
impressed.
to those old broadcasts in the day, it would always start off with 2-2 to Harvey Keene.
That's right.
Sandy's in his windup.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Oh
Man,
wow.
I'm impressed.
Let's how did I get back out of there? Oh, that's on you. All right. Still getting used to StreamYard here. Okay, so let's better give Rob his point.
Rob's crushing it, man. This is good.
Okay. Now, I made a video on this one, so maybe you saw it, maybe you didn't. So, who is the only player to get a hit for two different teams on the same day?
Oh,
Oh
crap.
man.
Somebody just did a video on this.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. They got traded and flew to the West. Yeah, I can't remember.
Hold on, let me pull up your channel.
Yeah, they got traded like after he'd already got a hit, and he left the game, and he was able to. I think he flew a couple of states away, and was able to make it for a 7 p.m. game.
Yeah, it was a Philly and a Met or something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah, I'll give that to you. He was a Philly and a Met,
Oh,
and when he was only able to do it because when he played for the Mets that day, I think it was against the Cubs, so it was a day game.
Can you give me the year?
Oh,
I know the year.
you do?
What year was it?
Say it.
Huh?
Oh, is it 1982?
No, I think that was too early. I think it was more mid '80s. If I
Okay.
remember right.
My bad. Then I probably have the wrong answer. Never mind.
Maybe not. I could be wrong.
Phillies to Mets. I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah, I'm not good at this. I'm doing about as well as I do on Immaculate Grid.
So now anyone watching, take heed that you should watch my videos.
Right.
You may be asked these questions.
Do I get a half a point for getting the right teams?
Not on this question, but maybe in the next one.
All right.
Okay, you guys ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, Rob, or Drew rather.
Yeah, don't spotlight me. I didn't write anything down. I'll just say Casey Candell, but I don't know.
Okay, well, you know what? That's the kind of player that might have done it, but no,
Yeah.
it wasn't.
I did watch your video. I swear, Mike. I just don't remember.
Hey, I don't even remember my videos, so that's all right. And we go to Drew. I'm sorry, Gordon.
I was gonna say, I know I'm wrong. I wrote down around the floor, but because I remember I thought he got traded in the middle of the season to the Expos, but I can't think of I can't even think of a Philly Met in that era. Hugo said it was 1980 something.
I thought it was 82.
What was it? Was it Philly or Expo? Now I can't remember.
I think he went from the Expos to the Mets.
No, he went from the Mets to the Expos, but the Expos were playing the Phillies. I think
okay.
that's what it was. Yeah. So okay, no, that is not correct. So Hugo, it's your turn.
I got Joel Youngblood.
That is correct.
Very
Yay!
good.
Hey. Yeah, I was watching, Mike. You know who your real friends are now.
I tell you.
No, I'm
Now
playing.
I'm
Yeah.
actually gonna watch your videos now. And Rob,
That's
I-
called reciprocity.
Zeros. Didn't have it.
okay, so we got
Yeah,
Hugo's
they
on the
made a card
board.
out of that. I think I said 82 because there's an 83 Fleer card of that.
Maybe that's yeah,
of
you may
that,
be right.
event, so
Oh,
I
they
think
made
I
a
should-
card to commemorate it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it had a picture of him on with each uniform on, and then a little verbiage on the back.
Oh,
yeah, and he signs
So-
TTM, so it's a cool card to get signed through the mail.
Oh yeah,
It's cool.
he's got a good signature too. By the
Yeah.
way,
Yeah,
I've got
very
him on
legible.
the 84 tops, and it's really nice.
Mhm.
Okay, guys. Question number 4. Right now we have Rob leading with 2. Hugo and Drew have 1. Gordon, this is going to be your big chance here to make up some
Oh.
ground.
I got to get that half point, man. I'm squeezing you for the half point.
Okay, I'm going to read the question, and I'm going to tell you how you're going to make the points here. Okay, so name the 4 players that have won 2 World Series MVP awards. Okay, so 1 point for the player, each player, and you get a point for which years they won it. So that's just extra.
2 World Series MVPs.
Yeah, not necessarily in a row, just 2 World Series MVPs within their career. There's only been 4 players that have done that. Who were they and what years? So you can at least get, some if you got a couple of the players and a couple of the years. Or now, if you just say, I don't know the player, but it was these 2 years, so you don't get it. You have to have the player to get a point, and then the years will be the extra for that.
Wow.
You can't just say this year, this year, this year, this year.
Yeah.
Because I know how you guys are.
It's a tough one, Mike.
Hey, Drew, you want to be holding up that sign now, don't you?
Yeah. See you guys in a little bit. Oh man.
Man, it's a tough one. I don't think I'm going to get anything on this one, but all guesses, man.
I can give you a hint. 2 of the players did this in the 1960s, so between 60 and 69. 1 of the players did it in the 70s, and 1 of the players did it within the last 10 years.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't know that one.
Wow.
So
10
it's
years.
2 in the 60s. Okay, so it'd be
Man. The last 10 years? Wow.
2 of the players did it for the same team. They did both of
All
them.
right, just
Same team.
stop. I don't know, man. I have high hopes for this one. I think I'm
70.
gonna.
I've got
Gain
2 of them, I
ground.
think. The 70s guy. Let's see, 70s.
I just don't remember the years well.
Yeah, I'm gonna embarrass myself again.
Oh, man.
I'll go first.
Hold on a
Hang
second.
on, I'll be another minute.
Rob and Hugo are still going.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
That's okay, Hugo. You watch my videos. You can do anything you want.
Alexa.
No.
I know, right?
All right, I give up. I think I know a couple of them.
Well, partial credit,
Well, almost done. I'm trying to put the years in. These all
Okay.
Yeah,
guess,
you're
Son.
Googling right now.
you know. I'm trying to remember this one guy's name that did in the last 10 years. Man, can't remember his name.
Hey, Gordon, is it supposed to say it's recording somewhere here?
You're recording.
Yeah, you're recording.
Oh,
I
okay.
can see it. Yeah.
Okay.
Can't remember this guy's name.
Well, I think I got that guy. So
The one from the last 10 years?
yeah,
Really?
You guys ready?
yeah, I'm ready.
All right, Gordon
Um,
wants to go first, so let's let him go first.
All right.
Hey,
So
Gordon, what do you got? Whoops.
I had Ricky Henderson. Is he one?
No,
Mickey Mantle,
no,
Reggie Jackson,
yes.
Ah,
and this is where I'm going to embarrass myself because I don't remember who was the World Series MVP in 2021. But I was thinking Freddie Freeman, but the Dodgers last year and Braves in 2021.
I don't know if he got one or not. He probably got one, but he did not get two.
Okay. I think he was probably 20. Was he the MVP last year?
Yep. He was, yep.
Was he?
Yep.
So in 2021, it may have been Jorge Soler or
I think it was Soler, yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so let's go with Drew.
All right.
Oh, wait. Where are we? Gordon, did you have any years that you wanted to?
Reggie, let's say 1971.
Nope.
And no, in 1978.
no, they won. Remember, they won 3 in a row, 72 to 74.
No, well, that's why I said 1972. In
You said
1971.
71. Okay, no extra points.
Nope.
Okay, let's go to Drew.
All right, we'll do the slow reveal. I had Pete Rose, 74 and 75.
Good guess, but not correct.
And then I had Corey Seager in 2023, and I didn't know the other year.
Okay, Corey Seager is correct, and you have 2023, and that is correct.
And then I had Bob Gibson in 64 and 68. And the more I think about it, they didn't.
They didn't win in 68. He still could have won it.
No, but he did win in 64 and 67.
Okay.
Oh,
And then the
hold on a
obvious.
second. One,
Oh.
two. So you got 4 points now. Okay, go ahead.
And then the obvious answer, because Mike's doing it, is Sandy Koufax in 63.
No.
No?
Wait a minute. Yeah, yes, it was Sandy Koufax. What years? 63 and 65, and those are both correct.
All right.
jeez.
So that's 3.
Woo.
You had one. Let's see. 1, 2, 3.
I'm
Okay.
excited over here, not for you, Joe.
Good job. Okay, let's go to Hugo.
Oh, yeah. All right, so I messed up on the first one. I put Bobby Richardson, 60 and
good guess.
61. Messed that up. But I got Koufax, 63 and 65.
There's 3 points for you.
Then I put Reggie, 73 and 78.
No, it was 73 and 77. 77
Oh.
was the year he hit the 3 home runs in a row.
Ah, man, messed that up.
So
Yeah, I
that's
couldn't remember if it was 77 or 78, but oh well. So
Who's that?
and the last one, I didn't even have a guess.
Oh.
I couldn't remember.
okay. Let's go with Rob. Koufax 63, 65. That is correct. So we'll get where are you? 1, 2, 3. Bob Gibson 64 and 67. That's right. You get another 3.
And then I'm done.
And Johnny Bench. Oh, that's a good guess too. That is incorrect. The other, I think we've named them all. So
Named them all,
Koufax in
Yeah.
63 and 65, Gibson 64, 67, Reggie 73, 77, and Corey Seager 20, and 2023.
And
I think it was 72. Reggie was out for the series. He tore his hamstring in the playoff game against the Tigers, I think it was. So he didn't make it in there. Anyway, okay. So what do we got here? Rob's got a slim lead of 8, and Drew has got 7. Hugo 6. Gordon, you got 1.
I got a point.
all
You got a
right.
point. You're on the board. Okay, this might make it up. There's a lot of points to be had on this one. So
All
let's. Okay. Who has the most? And there's only 2 more questions left. So, who has the most World Series rings as a player? So you get a point for the player, a point for the number of rings, and a point for every year that he got it, and
We have
that's
to-
hard.
We have to
But-
name the years.
Well, you don't. I mean, that you get points for everything. So just the player, you get 1 point. How many? You get another point. And each year that he won them, each year you get a point.
Oh goodness.
All right.
If you know the player, then you could probably, you put down 10 years and you could probably get about 7 of them.
Yeah. Yeah, for real.
to get the most amount of rings, you probably had to play in a lot of World Series games
Yeah.
or World Series.
I think I know the player, but
If someone gets every point out of this one, it's almost like double jeopardy. They could put the game away pretty much.
A runaway.
It'll be
Yeah.
a runaway. And remember to put your answer in the form of a
Oh
question.
yeah.
oh, okay. Who is?
Who is?
There, who is?
Seven.
We're only doing the player right now, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you don't want the years?
Oh, no.
Oh.
Go ahead and put everything down.
Yeah, but it sounded like you were going to go for a coach or manager too.
Oh, no. This is just as a player.
Okay. Because I know who has the most rings overall as a player and a coach.
Terrence
You
Gore.
never know. It might be the same guy.
Yeah, come to think of it, that's true.
Could be.
No,
Could be. Maybe not.
well, at least I know both.
Yeah. Yeah, I just threw a bunch of years. I'm all out of order.
Well,
That's what I'm doing. I'm throwing a bunch of years down. I'm just-
Honestly, I could probably get 3 or 4 of the years, and after that, I'd be guessing.
Hey,
Yeah.
Mike, on one of the guys who will remain unnamed, he won a whole bunch of rings, but he started winning so many rings that he requested shotguns in lieu of rings for the last 3 or 4 years
Oh,
because
man.
he was an avid hunter.
Wow.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Is
All
everybody ready?
yeah.
Okay, we'll go back up to the top there with Drew. Okay, Drew, what do you got?
Well, I put down Yogi Berra, and I think he had a couple as a manager, but as a player, I put down 11 rings, and then I just threw those years down.
Okay, Yogi Berra was correct. He did win a few as a. I don't know if he won as a manager. He won them as a coach.
You put down 12 years. Cheater.
No, he's got.
couple
He
of those years
he
they
actually
didn't win.
won. He won 10 as a player.
Oh, I did put that. Hold on, then. Let me scratch out the 59. Sorry, Jordan. I apologize.
All right. Okay. So we're going to give you a point for Yogi,
Braves won in 57.
and what we've got here is
Yeah, that was just a shotgun.
47 is correct, 49 is correct, 50 is correct, 51 is correct, 52 is correct, 53 is correct, 54 is not correct,
Ooh.
55 is not correct because they lost that year, 56 is correct,
Yeah, I should have known that.
57 is not, 58 is correct.
I knew the Dodgers won in 55. I don't know. I just did a shotgun blast and put years down.
So hold that there for a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you got 8 more points besides that. So
Impossible for me.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well done, Drew. Okay, Gordon.
Oh,
Yogi Berra, 10. So that's 2 points there. 51 through 56. And 58 through 61. So only part of those are right. So let's see. Let's give you the 2 for right answer. And put those up again. And you have 51 through 56. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And 5, 6. So you got 6 more of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Real good. Very good, actually. And Hugo?
All right, I got Yogi Berra with 10.
Okay, so there's 2, 1, 2. Okay.
Yeah, and then the years out of order, but I put down 49 and 50. Wait, 49, 50, 51, 52. Then I went to 54, which is wrong. That was the Giants. 56, 58, 59, 61, and 62.
So you got 8 more.
59's wrong.
Yeah. That was 59 was
The Dodgers.
Dodgers, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
Okay. And that leaves us with Rob.
And
Rob, what you got?
I messed up.
Oh, I
Yogi
thought he was gonna
Berra
get 'em
is
all.
correct. 9 is not correct, but okay. So let's see. 49 through 50. Let's see. Let's give you one for Berra. 49 through 53. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5. Let me go ahead and mark them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, the other one, 56 through 57. It was only 56, so that's 1. And 61 and 62. So there's 2 there, right? Yeah.
Did he
That's
write
good.
57 or 59 there? Well, I guess it doesn't matter. Well, no, he knew 59.
They're both
was
wrong.
right.
Yeah, I actually had 58 and I crossed it out and changed.
Man.
Okay, so we got one question left, but it's only worth 1 point. So, who do we have here? Drew with 16.
Hmm.
Hugo with oh, wait a minute, it's tied. Drew and Hugo are tied with 16.
Oh, 3-peat coming.
Rob,
Thank you.
you've got 14, and Gordon, you have 12.
Sweet.
So Hugo, or well, yeah, I mean, let's see who it comes down to here.
All right.
But you guys have made a good showing. You made us proud here. Okay. There's who is the only pitcher to pick off 3 runners in a single inning?
Wow.
Well, I know it ain't John Lester.
Definitely not John Lester. Oh, man.
Although
Whatever.
I hate to tell you this. This was another video of mine.
Oh, man.
Really? Man.
In fact, I think I made it right after the Joel Youngblood one.
So probably somebody on the 1950 Bowman set. No.
I can give you. It was in the 1980s.
Oh,
1980s. Wow.
God.
Man.
The only other hint I could give you, he was pitching. It was pitching late in the game, and they were running out of players. And the person that was catching was not even a normal catcher,
Oh,
but he
wow.
volunteered to do it, and that's why he ended up picking off the runners, because he didn't have any faith the catcher would throw anybody out.
Man. No idea.
I'm just
80s.
going to write a name down and take a shot.
You want another hint, or you guys just
Yeah. How about a team?
Okay, it was the
Oh.
Baltimore Orioles.
No, that goes that answer.
All right. It's a guy that came to mind, and he was an Orioles, so I said, all right, got to go with him. All right.
You guys ready?
Yep.
No.
Oh, sorry.
No? Okay.
Ah. Oh, what the heck? This is wrong, but I have nothing. Oh, wait a minute.
Do, 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 do,
All right, I'm ready.
do, do, do. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna start with Rob this time.
You got the wrong answer to start with.
Good guess, but not correct. That's actually probably the person I would have gone with. And Hugo?
All right, I went with Tippy Martinez.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Oh, man. He is going to
All right,
three-peat.
that's what I had in mind. And man, as soon as you said Orioles, I was like, I'm going with it.
There you go.
And Gordon? Jim Palmer or
Mike Boddicker.
Mike Boddicker,
Mike
yeah.
Boddicker. Oh man, what a throwback.
Good guess, yeah.
Yeah.
And Drew, what'd you come up with?
You guys have a good night. God dang, Hugo got it again. I put down Mike Flanagan.
Mike,
All
man.
good
guess.
answers, guys. All good
Yeah.
answers. Okay, well,
All right, I gotta
Congratulations,
pull this
Hugo.
out.
we got,
I got my
Hugo
World Wrestling.
first,
Nice.
There you go.
Rob second, and
the belt.
no, Drew second. I'm sorry.
That belt would look sweet with the Fred Rogers sweater.
Oh man, I should have
Okay.
brought that out.
So these are the prizes you get to choose from. Well, first of all, to everybody, I'm going to be sending along a few 1986
Oh,
Topps
Sweet.
cards, and I thought maybe in one of the future episodes we could maybe do a rip
break?
where we could compare the cards and maybe win something
Oh,
for that.
I think we need to save them so we can open them up live.
Do you realize these are 1986? Next year they'll be 40 years old.
You got to chew the gum, Mike.
Hey, speaking of breaks, I got some advice to ask.
What's that?
Put me on the screen real quick. Speaking of breaks.
Oop.
These are
Hmm.
1990, I guess, and 91. I know it's junk wax, but it's
Mhm.
there's still. Is that something we'd even want to consider? Or is that a waste of time?
No, I don't think so. I mean, the 86 is junk wax too. So I mean,
Yeah,
Don't forget, Rob, you might have that Frank Thomas no name on there, and
that's
Oh.
true.
you might retire twice.
Yeah.
I want to retire twice.
Oh man.
Okay, so here are the prizes you get to choose from. And Hugo gets first choice. We have a choice from the 1964 Giant cards. We have either, Karl Yastrzemski
Oh man. Done.
or Sandy Koufax.
Yes.
Well, I got there's other stuff here.
Okay.
We have a autographed celebration card of Al Lopez from a private
man.
signing.
Oh,
Man.
Hugo.
Yeah, really. Oh man.
This is the first year of the Hoops cards, unopened, but you can see that David Robinson rookie card is on the top.
Oh, cool.
And we have a signed canceled check from Hall of Famer Joe Sewell.
Oh,
Nice. Sweet.
And last but least, more of a minor thing just to have something, but this is, I think it's from 93. It's a Pinnacle set, unopened, and the tin of Joe DiMaggio cards.
Man, that's fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so first up is Hugo. You have any
Alright.
preferences?
Man, right here,
Go ahead.
I got an Al Lopez card right behind me here, and I'm filming an Al Lopez video tomorrow. So
oh wow.
I got to go with Al Lopez, man. I mean, I won't make it, but for my video tomorrow, but I'll have to make another one coming up soon. So I got to go with Al Lopez, the local guy.
Cool.
Yeah, thanks.
And that brings us to Drew.
I'll go with the Joe Sewell, right?
Okay.
Council. Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
And Rob.
I'll take the Joe D. At Pinnacle.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Just
Is that the
kinda-
one you can get an autograph in?
They have some special ones but this is not it.
Oh, okay.
And that also, then we got Gordon. What would you like, Gordon?
What was left of the table?
Let's see. Well, this
The
is
two Giants cards.
We have
Yaz and Sandy.
where's the Al Lopez, Joe Sewell, Joe D. Yeah, we've got the NBA hoops, and we have the Yaz and Sandy.
Yeah, I'll take Sandy Koufax.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you. Drew, Joe Sewell is the guy that took Ray Chapman's place after he was killed.
Absolutely.
Oh wow.
He's
He's
also,
an Alabama boy.
I think he is also known for not striking out hardly at all.
Right.
And he used the
2 or 3
same
times.
bat pretty much from the time he started to the end of his career.
Wow.
If you've ever swung a bat and played baseball, you know that they got to crack sometime, and he didn't. So,
Man.
okay. Well,
Thanks, Mike.
good job, guys.
Yeah, that was
You're
fun.
welcome.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was
So now let's do. I just had just a few kind of notes here. I wanted to kind of. Oh, there was something that happened, I think, today. Also, I'm going to add that at the end. It's kind of
Mhm.
it's off the beaten path, but I wanted to get people's opinion of it. But I wanted to talk about collecting as we get older, and it doesn't necessarily mean old. You know, it just means as we're progressing, because I think most of us have been collecting for several years, so we're not just starting out. And so basically, you know, what has changed from the time maybe you started collecting till now? Have you, you know, have there been life events that have made you either stop collecting or changed maybe your budget or changed your view, maybe made you narrow your focus a little better? Anything related to, you know, collecting as you've gotten older. Also retirement. If you've retired, did you change the way you collected? Maybe your budget has really changed in retirement, or maybe you have more free money. And if you're not retired, have you thought about where you're at in the hobby now and leading up to maybe your retirement? So why don't we go ahead and just kick that around a little bit? Drew, what do you think as far as now you're retired, right?
Well, I'm working again.
Okay, so you're
Yeah.
Serving pizzas.
That's right.
What was the phrase?
Serving
He's a beekeeper.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot one of the prizes. It's a nice puppy. It's a chow.
Oh, no, no, I don't do chows. I should have brought that hat, I guess. But I guess to answer your question, Mike, you know, first of all, I've never really had a gap in collecting. Okay, I started when I was 4 years old, and 1970 was the first wax pack that my mother bought me at an IGA grocery store. And I also started getting the Kellogg's cereal cards from my mom and from my grandma. I was manipulating them, telling them I wasn't getting breakfast, and I'd run over to the other house and eat more and get another card. Anyway, I've told that story before. So I've never really had a gap, but obviously as you get older, you start having more financial means. And so my collecting has changed in terms of purchasing cards that I certainly couldn't have purchased, say, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, or 40 years ago. And so there is that. But I think the biggest change for me is, and I often say this, I'm not collecting the cards so much as I am collecting the person on the card. As I've gotten older, I have a greater appreciation for the people that grace those cards and the stories that are behind them. And so now I find myself, purchasing the player and not the card. And that's how I would answer that, Mike. And
Okay.
as far as financially speaking, again, moving forward, again, I'm back working again. So right now I'm probably in my prime collecting, I guess, for the next few years until I do decide just to kind of hang everything up. And then I suppose I'm going to have to take a look at more of a budget, in terms of, how I want to proceed collecting wise.
Has it changed any for you as far as the willingness to either spend more or not spend as much?
Well, I think I have more willingness to spend more now because I have the ability to spend more, right? I had to be really careful 30 years ago or even 40 years ago when I was in college. I had to be really careful. You might only get one big card. And when I say big, it would be, a $20 card. $25 card, something like that. You know, I wasn't buying $100 cards or $1,000 cards. So.
Okay. Good answers. Gordon, how about you?
Yeah, so Mike and I spoke on the phone Saturday night, and we kind of talked a little bit about this then. When I had two phases to collecting. One when I was younger, up until the time I really got into college. I did a couple card shows when I was in college with a roommate of mine, and then kind of got out of it. But at that time, I was a mile wide and 1 inch deep, and I was just buying basically anything with no real discernment towards building any kind of collection per se. And since then, I've liquidated everything. And when I got back into it, I'm kind of the opposite. I'm very narrowly focused, I think, and very deep. But the budget and retirement thing, Mike, you and I talked. I'm not retired yet. I'm on the brink of retirement, but I do have a budget. And I think whether you're retiring or whether you're 20 years old, I think having a budget makes a lot of sense for everything. And we've all heard stories. I know Mike, the Junk Wax Hero, did a video not too long ago about the guy who I think he was 300 grand in debt or something like that. Something stupid. Get caught up in these breaks and things. And I think it's a slippery slope if you don't set some kind of a budget for yourself. Everybody's budget's different, but it's just a good practice. So I do have a budget, and I do have more money now than I ever had in my life, but I still have a budget, and I stick to it. So as of this year, I purchased one card this year so far, and I have saved over the last few months to pick up the next card that I want. I just haven't found the right copy of it yet. And I'll segue into that after I close up this. I found that the focus of my collecting, Mike, I kind of have a little bit of a what I call just kind of a personal code of conduct in guys that I will collect. So I will not buy a Pete Rose card. I will not buy a Dixie Walker, a Cap Anson, Barry Bonds cards. I just won't buy them. I don't want them in my collection. And I kind of gravitate. So, I'm a heavy Hank Aaron collector, Jackie Robinson collector, and Satchel Paige, but those guys get expensive. So I'm also big into these guys, Mike. Like, right? We talked about Lou Brissy. We talked about Augie Donatelli, who was a POW. We talked about Mickey Grasso, who was a POW in Germany, and how he survived. So that's kind of how I've been collecting. I've got the expensive guys, but I also got the guys that I'm drawn to for their ethics or their stories. And just to circle back real quick, Rob was gracious enough to send me a bunch of 84 Tigers cards. I thank him again. And I just wanted to let him know that, not only was I a fan of the 84 Tigers, but also the 52 Yankees. So you still have my address.
Understood.
Oh, that's a crack up.
Yeah.
Okay. Good answers, Gordon. Rob, how about you?
Well, I am retired, and I'm seeing my mortality. I'm going to be 70 next month, and I realized that all the cards behind me are kind of what I consider my big hitter cards for me. I don't have some spectacular jaw-dropping card collection, but they're cards that mean something to me, and I'm actually in the process of selling probably close to 600 cards. I'm preparing those, probably send them off for consignment to Greg Morris, or if you have any other suggestions, any of you guys, I'm selling probably 40 or so graded, mid to high grade Hall of Famers from the 50s, 60s. And I'm going to be selling a lot of 52s and 51 Bowmans, all of that. These are cards that I showed in many of my earlier videos, but I realized that I can't just collect all that stuff. And then if I check out earlier than expected, I don't want to leave my wife and my daughters with a bunch of stuff they have no idea with. So what I'm trying to do now is shave down my collection to cards that really mean something to me and are graded. I'm trying, I buy all, I think about 98% of the cards that I collected over the last 2 years ungraded, and then I send them off for grading. So I've changed that because SGC now is so slow. I mean, I can't believe how much that has changed. So I don't have time to wait around 3 to 6 months for cards to be graded. It's not worth it anymore. So long story short, yes, I've changed my collecting style at this point. I'm only focusing on what I consider artistic cards that have some a person on there that means something. And I'm right on board with Gordon. You know, Pete Rose, I'm not going to collect him. In fact, I just sold off one of his cards. I saw a documentary on him recently, and the guy, I watched him play for years, for decades. I saw him hit his 41-92 against Eric Shao. I mean, but he's a guy that I just don't have any respect for. Rest in peace, Pete. But I'm not going to collect cards, and I'm collecting cards. Quick story. My dad left. He passed away 5 years ago, and he left a kind of a short biography, and he referenced. I read it carefully a few weeks ago, and it kind of struck a chord with me that his dad was a dad that he really respected because, unlike the other kids in the Depression, his dad took time to take him to the polo grounds. And my dad identified, he goes, my grandfather or my dad took me to watch Mel Ott and Carl Hubble. And then in the fall, he'd take me to watch the New York Giants play, with Ward Cuff and Mel Hunt and guys that Tuffy Lehman's, guys that nobody on this panel may have even heard of football wise. But those are the kind of stories that I want to, kind of focus on. And I've been collecting a lot of these lately. These are baseball magazines from the 30s. And I'm trying to put a quiet collection together of Hall of Famers who graced the cover. And this is Joe DiMaggio's first cover of Baseball Magazine, which was in 1937. And I'm also collecting, just to give you a visual, starting to get World Series stuff. This is the 1936 World Series with the Yankees versus the Giants.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And I've also got the 39 series. And I'm going to do a few more videos. I'm so much into the history. I love these magazines because you open it up and you're reading articles about guys who we know as Hall of Famers, but they were just up and comers or maybe up and coming stars that became all stars. And it's just fascinating to me. So I'm going to be changing my channel a little bit and focus more on the short stuff and not get into those heavy duty PowerPoints that I do. So sorry I rambled on there, but
no, not at all.
That's great.
Hugo, how about you?
All right. Well, I moved to the U.S. in '86, and that was the year, of course, the Red Sox made the World Series. So I was really excited about baseball right off the bat. '87, I went to Fenway Park, watched the Orioles and Red Sox that was my first game. Tippy Martinez was probably at that game. I don't know. Probably how I know that answer. But then I started collecting cards in '88. That's when I started getting an allowance. I was 10 years old. And all my money from that point on until I was in my early 20s, like I spent most of my money on baseball cards, And for years, I was a big in-person autograph collector. But as far as what I like to PC, cards I went after was strictly Hall of Fame rookie cards, And I had a great collection up until 2004. I ended up selling everything. I opened up an eBay account, sold like 99% of my collection, and that was pretty wild. I don't know if you guys want to hear that story, but
I want to know why. What drove
it was
that?
really weird, man. It was all right. So it wasn't for. I mean, the money was nice, I mean, I had like a Pete Rose rookie card and everything, which again, as a player now, I would not collect, just like you guys mentioned, for different reasons, But anyway, so cards like that, I had 52 Pafco that I got a lot of money for,
Wow.
a lot of Clementes and stuff. So anyway, The reason I sold it is, all right, so in '04, I was attending this church. This is pretty funny because it's going to sound like I was a part of a cult, but uh, yeah, they weren't. But I was encouraged. Like once people found out that I was so big into baseball cards, like I was getting counsel from a lot of guys that I was it was kind of like idolatry in my life,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
they were like, hey, you gotta get rid of this stuff, man. This stuff is like consuming you, and it's like more important than anything in your life. And I'm like, well, I've collected forever, and I don't see it that way. I'm just having fun. And they're like, yeah, but you're spending money. It's kind of irresponsible and all this. And I kind of listened to them. They were older guys. And so I was like, all right, well, I'm going to sell it. And I even got advice to burn them, believe it or not. So I was like, well, I'm not burning them. I think the wise thing to do is sell them and get at least money for it. So I ended up selling them all, took me about a year, but I just went through it all, and then I was done with it from '04 until about 2021. I had that gap where I didn't collect, and the desire wasn't really there because I guess, they kind of killed the joy, that I had in collecting. Now, of course, I left that church, in 2021. No, I left that church way before, but a lot of good came out of it because, one thing that for years I actually ran an eBay store as my full-time job. Now, I didn't sell cards, but it led to something good, that I didn't see at the time. At the time, I kind of grudgingly I did it. I was like, this sucks, but, I like these guys. I like this church, and, I don't want them thinking I'm like some idolater or something. And, now that I'm older and have experienced life and have a different point of view and outlook on things. I have a clear conscience on everything I do. I try to be careful about everything. So now the way I collect, it's got to have, a special meaning. It's got to have a tie to my life, something that I can be nostalgic about, something that I can, maybe teach others about. There's life lessons, with this certain players. And then now, if you guys watch the videos I make, a lot of stuff that I do has, like a local tie, something about Florida. Like I like cards with spring training photos because there's, local history here. I enjoy collecting guys from the Negro Leagues. I like the history of the Negro Leagues, and there's, ties like I buy guys like, Brooks Lawrence, who he had quite the experience in Tampa, and I'm going to do a video about him, and it's not somebody that people would probably collect, but for me, I enjoy telling that story and doing my research on it. So that's what gets me now, the history aspect of it, the stories, the life stories. There's a lot there, and like I said, now I can collect, with peace, knowing that I'm staying within budget. I'm not overdoing anything. It's not taking food off my table. It's not. My wife's okay with it. I get her blessing from doing it, and I'm having fun. So that's the difference now. Now I don't. Although I still collect rookie cards here and there, that's not my main focus. And the Hall of Famers are great, but that's also not my focus. I try to go after guys who have that story that really hits, and that's where I'm at right now. So
do you see an end goal, like once you retire you want to be to like this point so that you can then collect this or that, or just from now until whatever the end is?
That's it. I'm just gonna keep doing it until I tell my wife, like, when I go, you could donate it to like a museum if any museum wants to take any of my stuff, or sell it, do whatever you like. But I'm going to keep going till the end, Yeah, like that's the beauty about this hobby, that you can keep collecting for years and years, and there's always something to pick up that intrigues you, that really gets your juices going, So I'll be collecting from here on out.
Cool. Well, we got a few more minutes left, but let me just throw my 2 cents worth in. and one of the reasons why I thought about this question a lot is because next month I turn 65, and I try to think how many more years I have of collecting. As Rob said, you never know when you're going to kick off. Um, I hope I have a good 20 left, but then again, I've been retired since 2011. So I've been retired a while, so my budget has decreased quite a bit. When I was working, I was able to collect pretty heavy, and also my focus has changed quite a bit over the years. Started with when I was a kid, getting autographs for free at Dodger Stadium, but also collecting cards. Then, as everybody does, you kind of get into high school and maybe you don't collect as much or at all. And then somewhere in the 80s, I got back into it because of a friend as far as cards go, but it was right in the heart of junk wax. So it kind of, I wasn't having that same fun that I was having when I was a kid. And I kind of stumbled back into autographs with all the big autograph shows and stuff. And I've really hit the autograph circuit hard. I got a lot of mainly Hall of Famers, but also the famous teams, 60 Pirates, 61 Yankees, 34 Cardinals, Gas House Gang, and all that. So that's where my focus had been. And it's funny, but now as I'm getting older and I'm looking down the future, I want to close out those projects, finish them up if they're not finished already, and get cards. But I've kind of hit that fork in the road. Part of me is going to get cards from my childhood that I don't either have anymore, or they got thrown out or what have you. But the autograph side of me loves autograph cards, but I can't get it in my mind to get cards from like the late 60s and the 70s when I was first collecting. I can't get it to get them autographed. And I don't know why there's this mental block, but Orlando made a suggestion. I think it was when I commented on one of his videos, and he said it's probably because that changes your memory of that part of your hobby collecting, because it's not like you've got this card now that you had as a kid. It's different, and I guess that's kind of true. So I've kind of come to the conclusion that I'd like to focus on those 60s and 70s cards, and it's going to have to be Hall of Famers just to cut down on because I don't have enough time to collect sets. So, but baseball, basketball, and football of especially like 71, I want all three of those sets. The tall boys for basketball, some of like 71, 72, 73, those sets or those cards for football, and then baseball, basically Hall of Famers from all those eras. But then I've also started collecting those Bowman cards from 51 and 52. And that's because I not only like the cards, but I like the stories. Like some of you have said, it's just the stories from these players. To me, it's not the same. When I was a kid and I was looking at Dennis Menke or, pick anybody that's like a bench player or something. Maybe it's because we didn't have the internet back then, but you didn't really get a real feel for who they were. I mean, basically. But these guys, this was a generation that had come off of World War II, and it was just a different mindset of these players, and they did things, and they played ball, and they worked in the off season selling insurance, and they had these exciting things that went on, and sometimes they talked about them, sometimes they didn't, but it's always interesting, and I just love those cards, especially if they're autographed. So I've tried to focus on that as I get older as well. And then some of the older cards like the T205s and T206s, I like the stories there. Obviously, they're not going to be autographed per se. There's not that many of them, and they would be very pricey anyway. But I guess that's where my focus has changed as I've gotten older. Even some like I like the Gaudi sets, but I know I don't have enough years left in me to be able to collect everything I want. So I just have to when I kind of feel myself wavering, going, gee, I'd like to start collecting some of these or these, I got to say, okay, if you do that, you got to stop this. So that's where, and of course the budget comes into there. As Gordon said, you got to set a budget, and I try to set a monthly budget, and sometimes I don't even spend any money. So hopefully, at that point, then I just carry it over to the next month and I have a little bigger budget. And then I try to like save Christmas money, birthday money, that kind of stuff, so I can put it together and have a bigger budget for like a card show. But I try not to go over it. Whereas when I was younger, I was a little more freewheeling, and of course, to get some autographs or cards that you wanted, that you had to spend a little more money. And nowadays, though, I don't think up until this card show that I went to in February, I don't think I had spent more than 125 maybe on a card. And then I went and got the Jackie Robinson 55 card and then the Joe Namath rookie card. But I had the money to do it because I had pooled it all together. But I'm still not sure if that means going forward that's freed me up in my mind to go, yeah, I'll spend that again on another card that I really like. Or I just like, that's like a one-time thing. I'm not going to spend that much money. As I'm getting older, I'm really less willing to spend money. I've turned down a lot of autographs that I could really use for certain projects. I just, just can't or won't spend that kind of money. So that's kind of where I am now. And I know it's completely different from when I started and I was younger, but I definitely have an eye on the end and on the budget. So
I think it should evolve. And I noticed that out of the five of us, nobody's talking about making money or speculating for investment. And so that's how I know, like, why I think we all get along so well, and we have group text going. And so I think I can't even relate to the people that are hunting for the guys that I've never even heard of, the Bowman Chrome cards. I just don't even understand the concept of trying to do that. But we all have emotional ties to the cards that we're buying. And so to Rob's point, Rob, you're selling for a reason. I don't really foresee me ever selling. So it's going to be up to somebody else to sell them. But
I kind of envisioned, like, in 20 years, I probably won't want to collect anymore. And that may not be true. It all depends on, how the health is and everything. And at that point, I don't have anybody to leave the cards to or the autographs or anything to, per se. And the couple people that I don't want to. So at that point, it's either sell, it's either keep it and just, when you pass away, just let someone else worry about it, or sell it and get a little money that I'll probably be too old to spend, or just give it away.
What would you do with the cash? So
So I guess
I do want to mention one other thing. You mentioned Orlando, and obviously we all pray and we'll wish the best for him. I haven't seen an update. I've never actually spoken to him, so I don't know him. I'm sure you guys do know him. I don't know him personally, but everything that I've heard is that he's probably the nicest guy you'll ever meet. So I think, Drew, you stayed in a house with him, didn't you?
No, I have met him a couple times, but he didn't stay in the house that I was in. But yeah, I've talked to him on the phone. Orlando is a super nice guy, and certainly glad to hear that things are going well for him. So
definitely. Okay, guys, we've been slightly over an hour, so I think we'll probably wrap it up here. Anybody have any last thoughts?
I kind of thought you were maybe going to talk about the Rob Manfred decision.
Yeah, I forgot about that. So the commissioner of baseball has now come up with, he is reinstating banned players. Presumably, I think it was implied that only the ones that are banned that are not living. So that would include Joe Jackson, Pete Rose, and that's to be reinstated for to be elected to the Hall of Fame if they are so elected.
Well,
they weren't even.
Here's what's confusing, Mike. This isn't Manfred's decision. the Hall of Fame is a separate organization, not tied to Major League Baseball.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the Hall of Fame's decision, not the commissioners.
Well, yeah,
I think
right.
they're making this
Right.
cue, though.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you know, it is the organization of, you know, the Hall of Fame that makes the final decision on this.
Yeah.
And they've been separate entities forever. So, you know, maybe they wanted to follow Major League Baseball's recommendation, but they
Yeah,
certainly
I think in
did.
the past I think in the past they said that they deferred to MLB. So
Fair enough. I just wanted to
point taken. Yeah.
So I was just curious what everyone thought about that. I mean, obviously, if the Hall of Fame then says, okay, we're going to follow your recommendation and put them, I'm assuming they wouldn't go on a ballot for the writers, obviously, but they would go for the one of the special committee, Veterans Committee, whatever they're calling it these days. But that would open up Pete Rose for the Hall of Fame, Joe Jackson for the Hall of Fame, maybe a couple others.
Well, I read Buck Weaver's biography. I know that there was a grassroots effort to get Buck Weaver reinstated, and I know that, you know, my son went to school in South Carolina, and there's a big push by people in South Carolina, or has been, to get Joe Jackson reinstated. So I think a lot of those people are probably very happy. I don't really have an opinion, I guess. So I don't know. I don't know where I stand.
I guess my opinion is that they served their time while they were alive. They did not get into the Hall of Fame, or you know, weren't able to participate per se in any official major league events or what have you, and that was appropriate. But once they're gone, I mean, why keep punishing them? You're not punishing them anymore. So to me, it makes sense. It's a lifetime ban. Well, they're not alive anymore.
Yeah, that's a great point, Mike. I was just going to say that.
So
they still have to be voted in too. So it's not like just because this was lifted, you know. So if the Veterans Committee, and I think the Veterans Committee is probably the right group of people to make that decision. I don't like baseball writers making decisions, but
yeah,
if the Veterans Committee, you know, if the guys who play the game think that they need to be in, then who am I to say no?
Yeah.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how expansive this becomes, because Rose and Jackson were essentially banned from baseball for betting and you know, off the field activities. What's that going to do down the road for the guys who are all the PED class?
Mm-hmm.
And what they're all going to wait till they die, and then all of a sudden all the PED users from the late 90s will become eligible for the Hall of Fame. It's just kind of a weird sequence of events here.
Yeah, but here's the thing on those guys: how many of the PED users, whether they're known to use or suspected, how many of them are officially banned from baseball?
Well, that's true. None of them, right?
Right.
I don't think they are. Yeah, I
They
think
just withered and died on the ballot. So
yeah, I mean, some never even got caught, right? I mean, like Bonds never tested positive, which
correct.
You
know, maybe that just opens up the special committees to, but I don't think they've been real willing to vote them in, especially if they were contemporaries of these guys.
Right.
Yeah.
well, at least the writers haven't. I don't know if any of those guys. I don't know at what point you become a Veterans Committee person, but
you know, makes you wonder. I mean, like if they don't get voted on by their peers, wasn't it where the last ballot, Clemens and Bonds could have gone voted in? Am I mistaken? But wasn't it by their peers and they weren't voted in?
oh yeah, I don't know.
So makes you wonder, you know, like now it'll be interesting to see with Pete Rose, because if it's this classic era committee or whatever it's called, you know, it'll make me wonder if, you know, somebody like Johnny Bench, if he's on there and he has a vote, would he vote? Because, you know, I've heard him on an interview say something along the lines that Pete did not belong in the Hall of Fame because of what he did off the field. So, and that was his teammate, you know.
Yeah.
If anyone's going to vote for him, you would think a close teammate who, you know, won championships with them. But, you know, Johnny doesn't like talking about it anymore. You know, he gets upset if people bring it up. But I did see an interview back years ago, where he did say, "Hey, he did what he did." Case closed. Like, I think with baseball, and now there's an argument. It's like, hey, betting is everywhere. It's like, well, that's true, but this is a guy who was in the game as a manager. In baseball, wants to keep it squeaky clean, from any doubt of, like they want to protect the integrity of the game, So if there's any doubt that from the fans that the games are legit, that they can be tampered with, manipulated, that's a big, strike, I guess you could say, against baseball, So they have to protect the game. So I understand that part. That's why they're so tough on these suspensions, on lifetime bans with Rose and Jackson, because they want to make it to where the fans have confidence that the games are being played the right way. Then people are not, messing up on purpose or whatever to, and that's, again, nowadays they've introduced this betting aspect of it. Now it's down to, all kinds of stuff that, that you can manipulate and during the game, it's very detailed, not just the outcome, but like, hey, this guy's going to strike out 4 times in a game or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's so, a player can do that, on purpose. So it's just, it's a weird time now, but I understand the lifetime ban, but then, for me with Rose, again, I don't want to dog a guy that's passed away. Just, just his character, just seeing that, he had a chance to, say, hey, my bad. I'm sorry, forgive me. He never did that. And he, there's also things way in his past that are questionable, like, hey, what were you thinking, man? In his personal life.
Rape.
Yeah. Stuff like that. So it's just, that's a guy that for me, I mean, if I ever had a vote, I mean, it's not a guy that I think should be, in the Hall of Fame, to where if I take my son to the Hall of Fame, I'd be like, hey, that guy was of high character, or, he was a guy of integrity. And, I don't think Pete Rose was really that. Great ball player, yes. He's already in the Hall of Fame. He has, things on display that, game used, and, the bat from the game, he got the hit and stuff like that. So, I don't know.
That's where it gets kind of dicey for me, is like, he's already there in the Hall of Fame with all, I mean, he must have a ton of stuff in the Hall of Fame for everything he did, for as long as he played. And so you still know about him, you still talk about him.
Yeah.
So does it really matter that, that he gets put in the Hall of Fame officially? Right. I mean, you could, honestly, I could go either way, but I mean, when he was betting on baseball, he was a manager, not a player.
Yeah.
And he's in the he would be in the Hall of Fame as a player. Do you differentiate the two? Do you go the whole bit about the character of the person? And if you do that, how many people are you going to kick out of the Hall of Fame?
Yeah. That is another problem.
It's
in
like
the end, it's not going to change my opinion of the man, whether he's in or not.
That's the thing, it's his reputation. He could be in the Hall of Fame, but there's still going to be people that have a personal opinion about Pete Rose, the man. And to me, to Hugo's point and Gordon's point, that his biggest sin, in my view, you want to protect the game. That's ultimately the important thing. But on the other hand, the fact that he tried to essentially cover it up for years, just deny, and lying. Talk about a bad role model.
And he burned people in the process. Kind of like that's one of the reasons why I'll never forgive Ryan Braun, the way that he burned that dude, Like, it's one thing to deny, but it's another to throw somebody else into the fire.
Exactly.
And,
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like he accepted the lifetime ban from Bart Giamatti, they were like, hey, we have all this dirt on you, accept the ban and just stay quiet, or else we're going to expose a lot more. And he was like, all right, well, give me the ban. And, he even went on to say that being banned from baseball was good for him financially,
Oh, of course. Yeah,
he did better off, being banned than if he had just made the Hall and been quiet about it, So.
Well, how many people would remember Joe Jackson per se, or you
his career was
touched different eras. But I mean, there's lots of great players that were from that era that you don't talk about that much.
Yeah.
So if he wasn't banned and that whole thing didn't happen, would he be better off? Or
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's something to think about.
It is. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
There's some players.
From a collecting perspective, it'll be interesting to see the price of Jackson and Rose cards now.
Oh, geez.
Right. Yeah.
Joe Jackson Cracker Jack card that's already expensive.
Yeah. And now that
Yeah.
he's a potential Hall of Famer, holy smokes.
Yeah.
I know. I think people overall, like most collectors, will be more merciful on Jackson. You know, I haven't really heard anyone say, "Oh yeah, he deserves that lifetime ban." I haven't really heard that. So you know, because he did so well in that World Series in 1919. You know, he batted like almost 400, I think, and you know, so it didn't look like he was trying to, you know, lose on purpose.
And they didn't make a Field of Dreams about Pete Rose.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So, you know, and then Pete, with his personality, it's you know, it makes it easier to be like, nah, he's fine. He's already in the Hall of Fame, and he got his money, and he lived it up, and you know, so I don't know. It's easy to not be as merciful on him, you know.
Yeah.
And bottom line is, when you're gone, you're gone.
Yeah.
What does it matter, one way or the other?
Yeah.
So, okay, guys, let's go ahead and wrap it up. Now we've got 2 members here, and I won't say who, have not hosted one of these shows yet. So I assume either Rob or Hugo will host the next one.
All right.
Hugo, you said you would do it.
I'll do it.
Well, okay. So finally,
I'm
the
just
winning
bailing,
streak ends.
I'm bailing right now because of my technical proficiency is so bad that I wouldn't be able to set this up. So I need to be tutored and mentored on how to do this. But Hugo, if you can take the next one,
Absolutely.
I'll promise to do that.
Hey, Rob, I met with Gordon the other night, and he walked me through. 'Cause I've been on Streamyard before as a guest,
Yeah.
but never as someone who did it. And he did a real good job of tutoring me. So
Okay.
And he did me no favors with the quiz. I thought that he was going to.
what I wanted to do, I told Gordon, I said, I'm going to make some really obscure questions that no one could even get, but I was going to give Gordon the answers so that he so you'd be going, what the heck?
There you go. Oh, I thought those were great quiz questions.
Yeah.
So, really,
Oh yeah. I love them.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Shout out to Netflix, because that's the only reason I knew Yogi Berra had 10 rings.
Oh man.
Oh, by the way, the one with the most rings is Frankie Crissetti, and I know that because I play pickleball on a fairly regular basis with one of his descendants, if you will, guy who grew up in San Francisco, last name Crissetti, and he told me that I think it's his dad's uncle was the relationship, and Frankie requested towards the end of his career, I think he got 17 total rings, but he accepted shotguns in lieu of rings for the last few years of his life.
Wild.
Yeah, he had several as a player, I guess. I'm sure he had a ton as a coach.
Yep.
Wow.
Well, he didn't get one for the Seattle Pilots, but
no. They're still waiting. All right.
That's cool.
Okay, guys. Let's.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks so much, Mike.
This was a lot of fun, as the other two were.
Keep
So,
growing your collection. Oh no, wrong guy.
I gotta go get on my John Deere and plow the.
It's a great day for baseball. Beautiful day.
It's a beautiful day.
All right, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording. So just go ahead and hang on here for a second.
Okay.
All right. See you.